In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we? The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had every year. Not one of them asked for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good over KB and look like Mr. Potato Head.
The controversial comedian Katt Williams made headlines when his explosive Club Shay Shay interview went viral last year. In it, he opened the portal to hateration and holleration thanks to calling out 7 artists he says he's truly hated over the years. And the names? They're some of the biggest stars in entertainment. We're talking Kevin Hart, who Katt slammed as an industry plant, who already had his deals when he got here. Steve Harvey? Katt didn't hold back, calling him a Mr. Potato Head-looking country bumpkin who can't talk good and accusing him of stealing material from Mark Curry. Then there's Cedric the Entertainer, who Katt claims lifted one of his jokes and turned it into a closer, all while putting out comedy specials so bad they're not even on Tubi. And let's not forget Smiley, who Katt says is a liar who helped edge him out of Friday After Next. And that's just scratching the surface. From bitter rivalries to old betrayals, these are the 7 names that, according to Katt, pushed him too far. What really happened behind the scenes? Why does Katt say these stars wronged him? Is he exposing hard truths, or just adding fuel to the fire? Stick around, because in this video, we're breaking down the 7 artists Katt Williams says he hated the most, and the brutal words that set the internet ablaze. Let's get into it. Number 1. Steve Harvey. First, let's talk about the rivalry between Katt Williams and Steve Harvey. It all came to a head during Katt Williams' explosive interview on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharpe. In classic Katt style, he held nothing back, calling out Steve Harvey for what he saw as years of fakery and theft. According to Katt, Harvey's hit sitcom, The Steve Harvey Show, wasn't as original as people thought. Williams accused Harvey of outright stealing the premise from comedian Mark Curry's Hangin' with Mr. Cooper. The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had, Katt said. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal, and he wear a suit. And then he gets this high-top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit. The man unit part, Katt's claim that Harvey wore a wig on the show, set social media ablaze, with fans and critics alike debating whether Katt was telling the truth or just stirring the pot. But Katt didn't stop there. He went for Steve's entire image, questioning why Harvey never made it big in Hollywood movies. You ask him, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie Mac with this same thing. You couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asked for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You have to have range. Those were fighting words, and many wondered how or if Steve would respond. For a while, Harvey stayed quiet, but the tension was too thick to ignore. When Steve finally addressed the drama, it wasn't by name, but everyone knew who he meant. Speaking at InvestFest in Atlanta, Harvey delivered what many saw as his clapback. In front of a crowd, he spoke about ignoring haters, but made it clear he wasn't above handling things differently if needed. You'll never have a hater that's doing better than you. Always know that. Don't get off the wall to address some penny-any-ass boy who ain't got shit going for himself, Harvey said. His message seemed calm at first, but the heat rose as he added, "Now you done stopped your climb on up the wall so you can come down here and talk to his little punk ass. Don't do that, man. I stay away from it. Now do I want to confront it? Yes, because I'm a human being, and I'm hood. I used to be a fighter and I still got hands. They slow, but if you get up on me real close, I can still knock your monkey ass out." Though he never said Katt Williams out loud, the words little short, and perm left no doubt about who he meant. The internet lit up, with fans largely siding with Katt. Comments poured in, saying Steve sounded defensive, while Katt's blunt criticisms felt closer to the truth. The history between the two has been rocky for years. Both are titans in black comedy, but with very different styles and very different public images. Katt has always positioned himself as the outspoken underdog, unafraid to call out what he sees as hypocrisy or injustice in the industry. Steve, on the other hand, has built a brand on mainstream success, clean-cut image, and motivational advice. So what's at the heart of their feud? According to Katt, it's about integrity. He believes Steve climbed to the top by stepping over other comedians, borrowing ideas, and protecting his spot at any cost. To Steve, it's just noise from someone who isn't on his level. Whether this rivalry simmers down or heats up even more, one thing is clear. Katt Williams and Steve Harvey may share a stage in comedy history, but they'll likely never see eye to eye. Number 2. Sean Diddy Combs. When Katt Williams speaks, people listen, especially when he's calling out the powerful figures of Black Hollywood. And among the many names Katt has dragged into the spotlight this year, none have stirred more curiosity, controversy, or conversation than Sean Diddy Combs. While their feud may not have the long public history of Katt's beefs with Steve Harvey or Kevin Hart, Katt's words about Diddy have been some of his sharpest, and, in hindsight, eerily prophetic. It all began with Katt's now legendary appearance on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharpe. During the wide-ranging, no-holds-barred interview, Katt touched on everything from fake friends in Hollywood to the dark side of the entertainment industry. And that's where Diddy came in. While Katt didn't spend much time on Combs, he didn't need to, because what he said set social media on fire. P. Diddy be wanting to party, and you got to tell him no. You got to tell him no, I did, Katt declared, leaning in with the kind of conviction that left no doubt he was speaking from experience. He added, "See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely." For Katt, the so-called partying wasn't innocent fun. It was a red flag, one that made him back away from deals and invitations that might have brought him millions but cost him his integrity. And then came the chilling warning. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024, Katt told Sharpe. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, all lies will be exposed. At the time, many dismissed the comment as typical Katt Williams bravado. But as 2024 unfolded, his words seemed to take on an eerie weight. 9 months after that interview, Sean Combs found himself at the center of a storm. The bad boy mogul was arrested and indicted on federal charges ranging from racketeering conspiracy to sex trafficking and coercion. He has since been the subject of multiple lawsuits and remains behind bars awaiting trial in 2025. Combs has maintained his innocence and, notably, has not responded directly to Katt's accusations. But where does Katt's animosity toward Diddy really come from? In an interview with GQ, Katt offered a deeply personal explanation. For him, it goes beyond the glitz of Hollywood or even the allegations swirling around Combs today. It's about loyalty and loss. "I loved Tupac, and I felt like we were kindred spirits," Katt revealed. "So if I hear you responsible for knocking my nah off, I don't give a F what job I end up being in. I don't care how things go. If I can get a way to get you, that's what I'm all about. I just don't like you walking around scot-free." Though Diddy has never been officially linked to Tupac's 1996 murder, conspiracy theories connecting him to the crime have circulated for decades. In 2024, those whispers grew louder when Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, now charged in the murder, was reported to have mentioned Combs in connection with the case. For Katt, that's enough to fuel his crusade. "It's cold spiritual warfare going on out here in the real world," Katt told GQ, "and part of my job is to not lose focus on that." Whether you see him as a messenger of truth or a provocateur stirring the pot, one thing is clear. Katt Williams isn't backing down. And when it comes to Diddy, he's made it personal. Number 3. Cedric the Entertainer. The next target of Katt's frustration? None other than Cedric the Entertainer. Katt's allegations weren't new. He first leveled them in 2021 during a radio interview, claiming that Cedric had stolen his signature joke, the one that closed his set, the one that defined him at the time. But it was on Shannon Sharpe's podcast that Williams reignited the fire. According to Katt, the joke in question came from his 1998 Comic View set, back when he was still billed as Katt and Da Hat. The bit painted a hilarious picture of someone in a loud convertible, aggressively blasting their music. Williams said the joke crushed every time, so much so that BET even used it in promotional spots for the show. "This is not just a random joke. This is my very best joke," Katt told Sharpe. Katt claimed that Cedric saw him perform the bit live at the Comedy Store, praised him backstage, and then, 2 years later, used a slightly tweaked version as the closer in the original Kings of Comedy film. "He thought I was just a no-name comedian, and that he could take this joke and nobody would know," Williams said. The change? Cedric's version swapped the car for a spaceship, but to Katt, it was the same joke. His joke, repurposed on the biggest stage of black comedy at the time. The emotional sting was deepened, Katt said, because he was in the audience that night. "I paid my money to go see Kings of Comedy, and to see my joke being there and not me was about as disrespectful as it gets in our craft," he recalled. The movie became a cultural touchstone, and Cedric's Closer became one of his most recognized bits. Meanwhile, Katt felt erased. Cedric the Entertainer, for his part, has consistently denied stealing anything. When Katt's comments resurfaced after Club Shay Shay, Cedric took to social media, calling Williams's account revisionist history. "Regardless of whatever Katt's opinion, my career can't be reduced to one joke Katt Williams claims as his," Cedric wrote on Instagram. "I've been in over 40 movies. My specials and brand speak volumes for who I am." In interviews, including one on The Shop, Cedric offered more context. He argued that both comics were drawing on shared cultural experiences. "Driving an old car, rolling down the window, that's 70s. That's part of the culture," Cedric said. "You can't say my joke about a spaceship is your joke about driving a car because we're doing the same gestures." What seemed to bother Cedric most wasn't the accusation itself, but how it came out. "We've been in the same rooms before. We've crossed paths. If he felt that way, why not say something to me then?" he asked. Katt didn't stop at the joke. He took further jabs at Cedric's career, suggesting that his specials were so bad even streaming platforms wouldn't touch them, and mocked his weight. Williams also claimed, contrary to Cedric's statements, that apologies had been made, privately, only for Cedric to deny any wrongdoing publicly. "Why did I give you a pass if you were just going to lie?" Katt asked. Number 4. Kevin Hart. The rift between the two comedians first became obvious in 2018. While promoting Night School on The Breakfast Club, Hart defended his co-star Tiffany Haddish after Katt publicly criticized her, calling her unfunny, and suggesting that she didn't deserve her meteoric rise. Hart didn't hold back. "My frustration with Katt Williams comes from you keep pointing at Hollywood and the white man did this." "When do you take responsibility for your actions?" Hart said. "You had the shot, you were the guy. Have you ever used your platform to bring the people under you up? You haven't. So don't suck on those who now are." From that moment, the tension between Hart and Williams became public. But it was Katt's now famous 2024 appearance on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharpe that reignited the feud in spectacular fashion. Williams, with his signature no-holds-barred style, didn't just take shots at Hart. He dismantled him piece by piece. Katt labeled Kevin an industry plant, alleging that Hart's success wasn't built on raw talent and grind, but on carefully orchestrated deals. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show. No one remembers a line around the block. No one remembers him getting a standing ovation at a comedy club, Katt said. He claimed Hart already had movie deals and a sitcom before he'd even made a real mark on stage in Los Angeles. Have we ever heard of a comedian who came to LA and in his first year had his own network sitcom and led a movie like Soul Plane? Never before him, never since him. What fueled the fire further was Katt's claim that Hart's rise came at his expense. For a 5-year period, every single movie Kevin Hart did was a movie that had been on my desk, Katt told Sharp, suggesting that roles Hart played were ones originally offered to him. Kevin Hart initially brushed off the comments. On X, he wrote, "Gotta get that anger up out you, champ. It's honestly sad." Instead of fanning the flames, he took the opportunity to promote his film Lift, saying, "Please enjoy my movie trailer." But Hart's true feelings came out months later during an interview with Charlemagne the God. Hart admitted he regretted ever responding to Katt in the first place. "I should never address him at all. I don't have to. Why? What will it do for me? What will I gain? There's no gain," Hart reflected. He explained that his initial defense of Haddish, not a personal grudge, had drawn him into the fray. Throughout it all, Kevin maintained that his focus was on positivity and business. "If I'm investing in something, what is my return? If I can't answer that question, then it doesn't get energy," he said. Number 5. Ricky Smiley. Katt Williams has never been one to hold his tongue, and when it comes to Ricky Smiley, the Friday After Next star had plenty to say. The heart of their conflict dates back to the 2002 cult comedy Friday After Next. In the film, Katt Williams played the memorable pimp Money Mike, while Ricky Smiley portrayed a scheming, foul-mouthed Santa Claus. Years later, during interviews and podcasts, Smiley claimed that the roles were initially intended to be reversed, that he was originally supposed to play Money Mike and Williams the Santa. Smiley suggested that the film's direction changed along the way, and both actors ended up in the roles fans now know so well. But when Williams sat down for his explosive 2024 interview on Club Shay Shay, he called that claim a flat-out lie. Ricky Smiley was lying about that whole situation, Williams told host Shannon Sharp. Katt insisted that he was always the intended Money Mike, and that Smiley's story was nothing more than an attempt to rewrite history. The Emmy-winning comic didn't stop there. He added that Smiley's acting ability only shone when he was playing female characters. "I put it in my contract. I won't work with him unless he's in a dress," Williams declared. "Because him and Tyler Perry can't play a man to save their life. They play good women, and I believe that the best actors should be in the best roles." Williams even pointed to Smiley's next big screen appearance, First Sunday, noting that, as predicted, Smiley donned a dress for the part. Smiley didn't let Williams's comments go unanswered. Not long after the interview went viral, he addressed the situation on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. With emotion in his voice, he spoke not with anger, but with disappointment. "I had no reason to lie about that," Smiley said, referring to the Friday After Next casting. He admitted that the addition of the pimp twist to the Money Mike character was a brilliant move by the filmmakers, one that made the role funnier and better suited for Katt. "There was no way in the hell I could have executed that role like that, and I'm glad they made that decision," Smiley admitted. But beyond defending the facts, Smiley also addressed the more personal jabs. He pushed back against Williams' insinuation that wearing a dress for a role diminished his manhood or credibility. "That has nothing to do with my manhood being lessened for trying to play a role and trying to put food on the table for my family," he said, explaining that as an actor and entertainer, taking on different characters is part of the craft. Smiley expressed regret that things had gotten so ugly. "I'm disappointed to even have to respond," he said. Rather than escalate the drama, Smiley chose to take the high road. "We want to wish Katt Williams nothing but the best," he said on air. He also opened up about the difficult personal time his family was facing, approaching the first anniversary of his son's death. "It's a crazy time for us, And that's where my focus is, Smiley shared, hinting that public feuds weren't worth the emotional energy. Number 6. Tyler Perry. Among those who've felt the heat of Katt Williams' words is none other than Tyler Perry, the prolific actor, writer, director, and media mogul. Though Williams didn't dedicate much time to Perry during his now viral Club Shay Shay interview with Shannon Sharpe, the shots he did fire left a lasting impression. At the core of Katt's disdain for Perry is what he sees as a lack of authenticity, both on screen and behind the scenes. Williams quipped that Perry couldn't play a man to save his life, taking aim at the filmmaker's signature portrayal of Madea and other female characters. According to Katt, Perry's repeated use of dresses in his acting roles is less about artistic choice and more about an inability to convincingly play male characters. The jab hit at the heart of Perry's comedic identity, as Madea has long been the cornerstone of his fame. But Williams' critique didn't stop at Perry's wardrobe. He also accused the media mogul of failing to truly uplift other black talent. In Katt's view, Perry's success hasn't translated into creating new superstars or empowering the next generation of black actors. He shouldn't be the only one out here paying black actors what they're worth, Williams argued, implying that Perry's production empire could, and should, do more to raise others up alongside him. This point echoed remarks Williams later made in a GQ interview, where he reinforced his belief that real leadership in Hollywood means creating opportunities for others, not just yourself. Despite Williams' harsh words, Tyler Perry has chosen to stay silent on the matter, at least publicly. As of late 2024, Perry has been focused on his work, including the release of his critically praised film, The 688 on Netflix, and navigating personal grief following the loss of his mother and the tragic death of his production company's CEO in a plane crash. If Perry felt any sting from Williams' comments, he hasn't let it show. While Perry kept his peace, the feud did spark plenty of conversation, especially on Black Twitter, where users turned Katt's sharp commentary into a meme-worthy moment. Fans debated whether Williams' criticisms held weight or whether he was simply stirring the pot for attention. Some praised Katt for saying what others wouldn't, while others felt the attack on Perry was unnecessary, especially given Perry's philanthropic work and success in building a black-owned production powerhouse. Even 50 Cent couldn't resist joining the chatter. After news broke of an unrelated lawsuit against Perry, 50 joked on Instagram that the filmmaker shouldn't worry about that. It was Katt Williams he needed to keep an eye on. Katt's gonna have a field day with this shit, 50 teased, fanning the flames of the ongoing tension. Number 7. Ludacris. Katt Williams has always been known for speaking his mind, unapologetically and often controversially. But even longtime fans were stunned when, during his explosive Club Shay Shay interview with Shannon Sharpe, the comedian took aim at rapper-turned-actor Ludacris. At the heart of Williams' grievance is his belief that Ludacris didn't earn his place in the Fast and Furious franchise on talent alone. In fact, Williams alleged that Luda's rise was the result of a shady deal. There was a crossroads where we were both invited to an Illuminati thing, and it had to be one or the other of us, and decisions had to be made, Katt claimed. According to Williams, both men were on equal footing at the time, until Ludacris supposedly chose fame at a cost. One of us had to cut off all their hair and couldn't do the sideburn thing no more with the points, Williams added. The reward for compliance? As Katt described it, they said the next person was going to get $200 million because they were going to pay him $10 million a movie to do 20 movies. One of those persons turned out to be Ludacris, and the other person turned out to be Katt Williams. Williams didn't stop there. He took a personal swipe, insulting Ludacris's wife by calling her light-skinned with an ugly face, a remark that seemed unnecessary and low, even for a beef rooted in comedy. Just hours after the interview aired, Luda dropped a freestyle over Kanye West's Devil in a New Dress, where he denied the Illuminati rumors and brushed off Katt's claims. "Never been Illuminati, only Ill Ludanati," he rapped. And I only left with bitches when coming from any party. Now I'm married with kids, the evolution of life. Never been a clout chaser. Never say shit for likes. Luda didn't stop there. He took a subtle dig at Katt's troubled history with substance abuse. Addictions on the rise, comedians check your temperature. Unwilling to let it end there, Katt fired back on Suge Knight's Collect Call podcast, premiering a freestyle of his own. I'm coming for your #1 spot. One of us a killer and the other one is not. One of us the realist and the other one a fraud, Katt declared. He doubled down on his original accusations. You heard the interview on Club Shay Shay. I gave 'em all a payday. I'm still going fucking viral, so who care what the haters say? Ludacris, you must be out your rabbit-ass mind. You made a rap song, but nucka, you ain't say I'm fucking lying. Ludacris later addressed the situation more calmly during an appearance on The Breakfast Club. He called the entire ordeal laughable and said he was surprised, given that he and Katt had been cordial during past encounters. I do know that I saw him at Rick Ross's crib some years back, and everything was perfectly fine. But he's a comedian. He tells jokes. So it is what it is, Luda shrugged. He emphasized that he took no offense, viewing Katt's claims as part of the comedian's act rather than a serious attack. And there you have it. The 7 big names Katt Williams didn't hold back on. Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Ricky Smiley, Tyler Perry, Ludacris, and Sean Diddy Combs. From claims of stolen jokes and fake friendships to allegations of secret deals and betrayals, Katt aired it all out, leaving fans stunned and critics divided. But what do you think? Was Katt speaking his truth, or just stirring up drama for attention? Let us know in the comments below. Whose side are you on? And don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss more deep dives into the wildest moments in comedy, music, and Hollywood. Bye-bye.